Howdy, Outriders. Sam here. There's a number I want you to chew on before we get into this list here today. 8 weeks. 8 weeks was the average life expectancy of a fighter pilot in the Royal Flying Corps in April of 1917. And they call that Bloody April. The British lost 316 aircrew that month alone. Kids who'd been schoolboys the year before. They were sent up in machines that maybe they had 20 hours of training in against German pilots who'd been shooting down their friends since Christmas. 8 weeks. Picture sitting in a mess hall, knowing the chair you're in, the silverware in front of you, and the boy across the table, half of all of them just gone before June. And the next batch of boys are flying in from England, don't know what empty chair was yours. That's the war we're talking about today. 5 pictures, silent, black and white, Technicolor, and 1 elegy from the 70s that tried to put the war on film while there was still a man alive who'd flown in it. I ranked them by what hit the hardest when the projector goes dark. All right, let's get into it. At number 5, I'm gonna start here because this picture, it's Tombstone. The Great Waldo Pepper, 1975, had Robert Redford, who plays a Nebraskan barnstormer.
Hello, good people.
Who came home from the war and didn't have any place to put the only thing you learn how to do. So he flies for kids at a county fair at like a quarter a head. But he also chases this ghost. He's a German ace he was supposed to fight in 1918 and never got the chance. The barnstorming sequences in his picture, they're the real article. The director hired Frank Tallman.
However, now that you're here, I'll have a couple of the boys entertain you. Oh, Frank, you take off and ride over here. I want you to do a little work. The word work acts on him like a sleeping powder. I want you to show these folks some stunts. Take them for a little ride.
Who had been the best stunt pilot alive in 1974 and probably the last man on Earth qualified to fly the way those boys flew back in the 20s. Tallman did the loop under the bridge. He did the wing walks. And he died in a crash 4 years after this picture came out. And the world lost the closest thing it had left to living connection to 1918. The picture? It didn't even make a nickel at the box office. And Hill said that broke his heart. You know what? It should have. Because some pictures are supposed to break your heart in the making. That's how you can tell that they actually meant something. I apologize for my French here, I'm just a poor country boy. So, the Pour la Mérite, or the Blue Max, it's a small emblem cross hanging from the black and silver ribbon. And that's what the German Empire gave its fighter pilots who shot down 20 enemy planes. And that's what George Peppard spends 2.5 hours of John Guillermin's 1966 picture trying to earn. Bruno Stachel's a working-class infantryman who gets himself transferred to the air service because he saw aristocrat pilots getting rich on glory while he was knee-deep in the trenches.
Brandy, please. Champagne, Herr Lieutenant.
Billy got his 20th kill today. He's being awarded the Blue Max.
Peppard, he plays him cold.
By the way, Stein, there's an impression around that you care more about your unconfirmed kill than you do about Fabian's death.
Cold enough that you don't always like him.
In the trenches, we couldn't even bury the dead. There were too many of them. I've never had the time to discuss them over a glass of champagne.
And you know what? That's the point. Blue Max, it ain't romantic about its romance. The kid, he wants that medal more than he wants honor or country.
We have cost nearly half the squadron.
We shot down 7 planes. 3 of them were mine.
Or the bored aristocrat's wife, Ursula Andress, doing more with 3 expressions than most actresses manage with 30. And the picture lets him want it the whole way down. But here's the part nobody really ever talks about. Guillermin and his second unit director, Anthony Squire, they built a fleet of flyable Fokker D.VIIs and S.E.5a replicas with mounted cameras on damn near every surface of every single one of them planes, and turned the sky over Ireland into a 6-month dogfight. John Glen, he cut it. You know, John Glen, who directed like 5 Bond pictures in the 80s, he cut it like a man who understood that an airplane on screen needs to feel like it weighs 4,000 pounds and is held in the air by a willing suspension of physics. When Stachel rolls onto a camel and you see that gun camera burst, that ain't no effect. That's a real plane firing at a real plane while a real plane films it. It don't matter how good the CGI gets. You can't fake what a propeller does at light at 3,000 feet. Now just hold up before I get on to number 3. If you're watching this video, I gotta assume you like some flyboy movies. I would like to hear what movies you love or want to see in a future video. I'll be reading every last reply like a man with nothing but time and a half-finished bourbon. All right, let's get going.
The Field Marshal is insisting on a court of inquiry.
They're going to disgrace him. An officer with the highest decoration Germany can give. All because of your stupid little anger. Do you understand? Do you?
You know, there's a moment in the Dawn Patrol that I've been carrying around since I was about 19 years old. The colonel's pouring brandy in the mess. He pours one for himself, one for the major, and then a third. And it's for a pilot who ain't come back from his mission yet.
To him. I'll drink to that. Just gotta.
That drink sits on that table. The chair sits empty. And the picture trusts you to understand what that drink means without anybody saying a word about it. That's the 1938 filmmaking.
Don't you think our letters of sympathy are becoming stereotyped? I think I'll try and alter my prose style and humanize this one.
Well, no matter how you write it, it'll break her heart just the same.
Edmund Goulding directing, Errol Flynn as Captain Courtney, David Niven as Scott, and Basil Rathbone as a squadron commander who sends them boys up and rots from the inside watching them not come back.
A dangerous job is much easier than sending other fellows into danger. He has nothing against Courtney. He relies on him and he needs him. It's a funny war.
This old picture's built on a passing of the chair.
But they've appointed me up to wing. Excuse me, Phipps.
Rathbone. He's in the first act, and he's a man who's been doing the killing from a desk for so long, he's already a ghost. He's the one pouring them drinks. He sends the boys up in lemons because he's got no better lemons to send them up in. Flynn, he's the loudmouth ace giving them hell for it.
cautious. You don't think I enjoyed losing those boys, do you? Getting them burnt up, scattered all over France? Sending them up in crates that should have been on the scrap heap months ago.
That's right. Now, tell me. Tell me what's on your mind. That I'm a murderer.
Until Rathbone, he gets promoted out, and Flynn takes the desk.
And before I go, I'm ordered to appoint someone in my place. Here, at my place, at this little desk.
What do you mean?
I mean that someone is going to be you.
And then the whole rotten cycle starts over with a new face on it. What Flynn does in the second half, you know, the boy from Robin Hood, the swashbuckler, the man who could have just coasted on charm for 30 years, it's kind of unreal, because he hollows out. You watch that cocky grin drain off him scene by scene until all that's left is a man pouring brandy for pilots who just ain't coming back. This one here's number 3. You should just go watch it. Three stunt pilots died making this picture. 3 of them. 3 men who climbed into vintage World War I aircraft for a 23-year-old oil heir who never directed a picture in his life and was paying for the whole thing out of his daddy's company money. The oil heir, that was Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes, millionaire genius, was a pioneer in aviation and motion pictures. He defied convention, set new patterns for others to follow, made stars of unknowns.
The picture, Hell's Angels from 1930. And he started shooting it as a silent in 1927. Spent like 2 years and a big chunk of his daddy's fortune getting it done. And then sound came in and made silent pictures worthless overnight. So Hughes did what only a man with that kind of money and little judgment could do. He scrapped most of the picture and he started over making a talkie. He hired Jean Harlow, who'd never been in picture before because the British actress he cast originally, she had this accent that didn't quite work for sound. Harlow, she walked off the whole movie and became a star.
Get out of here.
Don't worry, I can't get out fast enough.
Get out. And stay out.
Hughes, he bought 87 vintage World War I aircraft to make this thing. 87 of them. It was the largest private air force on Earth in 1929, bigger than most actual countries had at the time, and he hired 137 pilots. He built airfields, he bought a German Gotha bomber, he had 3 Fokker D.VIIs, S.E.5as, Thomas More Scouts, and he put cameras on every single one of them. When the dogfight he wanted couldn't be staged the way he wanted it to, Hughes, he went and climbed into a Thomas Morse himself and tried to fly the maneuver his stunt pilots said was suicide. Guess what? He crashed. Fractured his skull, broke some ribs, the whole works. Yet, he came back from the hospital and finished the picture. $4 million spent. And let's call that $75 million in today's money. 4 years of his life just gone into this film. And what you see on screen, it ain't no recreation. It's the real thing. Captured real time by a man who treated his own life like a line item in a budget. Hell's Angels is what happens when one rich kid decides cinema's going to keep up with him, whether it can or not. And like I said, 3 good men died for that decision, and the picture they died for is still standing 96 years later. Before I get to number 1, and seeing that you're still with me here, if this list is working for you, I'd like you to do me a favor. Go hit the like button. Now it's free, it really helps the channel, and it costs you exactly as much time as it takes one of these sopwiths to hit 100 feet. If you can, subscribe while you're down there if you haven't done so already. Alright, on to number 1.
I'll save it to wipe your nose on.
William Wellman flew a Nooper 28 with the Lafayette Flying Corps. He shot down 3 German planes. He did crash his own plane behind enemy lines, and he walked himself all the way back. He won the Croix de Guerre, and he broke his back. The French army called him Wild Bill. He was 22 years old. In 1927, Paramount handed Wild Bill Wellman a script about 2 American boys who joined the Army Air Service in the Great War. They fall in love with the same girl, and they end up in the same French sky. He'd been one of those boys like 9 years earlier, and he hadn't even had to research a thing for this movie. Wings is what came out of that. The first picture to ever win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It's a silent, it's 144 minutes long, made when cinema itself was barely even 30 years old. Charles Buddy Rogers and Richard Arlen play the boys. Clara Bow, she plays the girl back home. And let me tell you, when Clara walks on screen, the picture stops being about flying for about 8 minutes and starts being about Clara. And you don't mind it one bit. Gary Cooper shows up for like a single scene that lasts like 2 minutes, and he walks out of the movie a star. But let's talk about the air. The air is what tops the list. Wellman shot the aerial sequences with cameras bolted to the columns of real planes flying real maneuvers. He had the Army Air Service loan him pilots, ground crews, hangars, and the entire field at Kelly in San Antonio. He shot dogfights from the air, from the ground, inside the cockpit. He didn't fake one frame. When you watch a Spad come apart in the midair in this picture, that's a Spad coming apart in midair. You watch a German Fokker spin to the ground, that's a Fokker hitting the ground. Wellman lost 2 stunt pilots during production, but he just kept going. 100 years from now, nobody's alive who ever saw Wings in the theater. The picture will still be the thing every World War I aviation movie has ever measured itself against. Hell's Angels, it measured itself against Wings. Dawn Patrol, Blue Max, they all measured itself against Wings. They all knew it, most of them even said so. This one's #1, and it ain't even close. That there's 5 pictures about a war fought above the war. Fought by kids in their 20s who'd never seen the inside of an airplane. Half of them died learning. The other half, they came home and spent the rest of their lives trying to put what they saw up there into words that anybody on the ground would understand. The pictures we just talked about are 5 attempts at that translation. Now, if y'all think I missed any, or maybe I ranked them wrong, you go head to the comment section to talk about it. I'll be down there, and until next time, lock and load, partners, and keep the reels a-rolling.